Ever felt the presence of something unexplainable? Stay tuned to uncover chilling tales from others who have. It was Christmas Eve, and the train station was bustling with last-minute travellers. The air inside was thick with the sounds of hurried footsteps, rolling luggage, and the occasional chime of announcements echoing through the high, arched ceilings. I'd been working late, trying to tie up loose ends before the holidays, and now I was rushing to catch the last train home. The crowd was thinning as the night grew colder, and soon I found myself nearly alone on the platform. The distant murmur of Christmas music from a nearby cafe gave the place a strangely festive but melancholic air. My train wasn't due for another 10 minutes, so I leaned against a cold metal bench, scrolling through my phone to kill time. That's when I noticed the man. He wasn't part of the usual commuter crowd. His coat was ragged, his eyes darting nervously. A pickpocket, I thought. He moved swiftly, brushing past an older woman as she adjusted her scarf. Sure enough, his hand emerged from her bag, clutching something small and shiny. I opened my mouth to call out, but before I could, he stumbled. Hard. It wasn't a slight trip. It was as though someone had grabbed his ankle and yanked it out from under him. He sprawled onto the cold, hard platform, his stolen prize skittering across the floor. The old woman turned around, startled, but he scrambled to his feet and bolted into the shadows before she could react. I glanced around, expecting to see someone who might have caused him to fall, but there was no one there, just the faint echo of his boots retreating down the stairs. I tried to shrug it off, but something about it left me uneasy. Moments later, a chill swept through the platform, sharp and biting. It was strange. It hadn't been this cold earlier. I pulled my scarf tighter around my neck, but the cold seemed to seep right through me. Step back. The voice was low and firm, cutting through the silence. I spun around. No one was there. The platform was empty, except for me and a few stragglers at the far end, too engrossed in their own lives to notice anything out of the ordinary. "Step back!" The voice came again, louder this time. It was coming from somewhere near me, but I couldn't see anyone. My pulse quickened as I stepped closer to the edge of the platform, peering into the tracks below. The overhead lights flickered, their weak glow casting strange, jittery shadows. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Something about the voice had a weight to it, an urgency I couldn't ignore. I took a cautious step back, just as a deafening crack split the air above me. My heart leapt as I instinctively ducked, and a massive section of the station's roof came crashing down. A beam and chunks of debris slammed onto the spot where I'd been standing seconds earlier, shattering tiles and sending a cloud of dust into the air. For a moment, everything was chaos. People shouted, alarms blared, and the station's emergency lights flickered to life. I stumbled back, coughing, my chest heaving as I stared at the rubble. If I hadn't stepped back when I did, I turned again, expecting to see someone, anyone who could have warned me. But the platform was empty, completely empty now. The stragglers had either fled or vanished into the confusion. Later, when the dust settled and officials began clearing the wreckage, I overheard one of the older station workers talking to a colleague. "Same spot," he said grimly, shaking his head. "It's always the same spot." "What do you mean?" I asked, stepping closer. The older man hesitated, glancing around like he wasn't sure if he should speak. Finally, he lowered his voice. "Years ago, there was a stationmaster here. Good man, always looked out for the passengers. There was an accident one night, a Christmas Eve just like this. A train derailed, and he managed to save a handful of people before a beam came down on him. That's the same beam you see there." I stared at the wreckage, my mind racing. "And the voice?" I asked, my throat dry. The man gave me a long, measured look. "You're not the first to hear it," he said, "and you probably won't be the last." As I boarded the delayed train home that night, I couldn't stop thinking about the voice, about the pickpocket who'd stumbled out of nowhere as though something or someone had tripped him, about how the voice had saved my life. I don't know what I believe. Maybe it was just coincidence. Or maybe, on Christmas Eve, the spirit of a watchful stationmaster still keeps an eye on his platform. All I know is this: I'll never ignore a warning like that again.
If this chilling tale gave you goosebumps, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories like this. Thank you for tuning in to Ghostly Echoes. Until next time,